Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is how to find the slope when you're given 2 points. Also, how to find the slope from a graph. So remember on the previous video I said slope is just rise over run. So let me show you what I mean by that. So what I've done is I've created a Cartesian coordinate system. I have a point here at the address 4, 5. So that means I go over 4 on the x and I go up to 5 on the y. Over here I have another point at -3, -2. So I go over to -3 and down -2. So I have 2 points, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to find what's the slope of the line that goes through these 2 points. So let me do as good of a job as possible of creating a line. So it's not super straight, but a linear equation will always be straight. You got to work with me here. So I have a straight line, okay? It crosses someplace. I'm going to try and do this a little bit better. It crosses someplace on my y-axis. Does it cross exactly at 1? I don't know. I don't know that yet, but I can find out what that x-intercept is as I work through this. What I want to concentrate on right now is what's the slope. So if you notice, I'm going to do this in a different color. I hope you can see it. What you notice is between the 2 points, I can create a right triangle. Okay? What this right triangle does is it shows the rise over the run. So in other words, how far up it goes and how far over it goes. That's my slope. That's the average amount of change that I'm seeing across this line. So when I'm looking for the slope, I'm looking for the rise and the run. Now, when you have a graph that's already drawn for you, you can just count the boxes. That's it. You just count how many steps up did you go and how many steps over did you go. So if I do this, I was down here at -2. So I go 1, 2, and then I'm up here at 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a rise of 7. And then for the run, I'm going to find out how far over did I go. So I'm over here at -3. So 1, 2, 3, and then over to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is also 7. Okay, so my rise is 7 and my run is 7. I didn't do that on purpose. So my slope is 7 over 7. Now, you have to look at the line. When you look at the line, if it's going up, right, it's an increasing slope, so that's a positive slope. So 7 over 7 is the same as 1. So I have a slope of 1. It means it changes by 1. 1 up, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over. And I could show you that with every single one of these. 1 up, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over. Here's my rise over my run. And I was able to find that just by looking at the graph, counting how many times I stepped up and how many times I stepped over, okay? Now, I'm going to use these same 2 points to show you how to find the slope when you don't have a graph to go on, all right? Sometimes you're just given 2 points, you're not given any graph, you just have to calculate it. So the way you would calculate it is what's called the slope formula. So the slope formula, if you notice, for slope, for the rise, it's the difference in the y's, okay? So that's where this comes from. It's the difference of the 2 y values over the difference of the 2 x values, okay? So that's your x2 minus x1. Now, don't let the 2 and 1 throw you. Whenever it's a subscript, all that means is it's a position. So this is the second y value minus the first y value. Second x value minus the first x value. That's all it means. So I have 2 points. 4 and 5, the point 4 and 5, and the point -3, -2. We can find the slope. Let's see if our calculation of the graph actually worked. So remember, your ordered pairs are always written in the format x and y, x and y. It does not matter which set you use. Just be consistent. So for this one, I'm going to use this as my second set. This is my first set. So watch what I do. Here's my 2 y values. So I have -2 minus 5 over and I'm going to come back to my second set, -3 minus 4. And then I work it out. So -2 and -5 is -7. -3 and -4 is -7. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, which also equals 1. So we were correct in our calculation. If you switched it and you use this as the second set, let me show you, you'll get the exact same answer. So if I did this, I would go 5 minus a -2 over 4 minus a -3. So this minus sign is not this minus sign. They're two different ones. So this is where we end up with a double negative idea. So remember, a double negative just means you're adding, so this just becomes a big giant plus sign. So I end up with 7 over 7, which actually equals 1. So we were right in both of them. Okay, let's try one more. I'm just going to give you a set of points that you're going to find the slope on. And then in the next video, I'll show you how to get equation of a line using through 2 points. Okay, so here we go. We have our point 1, 5, and our point -3, -6. Okay, 0.15 and -3, -6. I'm going to do it both ways so that you can see you'll get the exact same answer. Doesn't matter which set I use first. So with this one, I'm going to use this as my second set. This is my first set. So my slope, -6 minus 5 over -3 minus 1. So I end up with -11 over -4, which is the same as 11 over 4. Now, this is what's considered an improper fraction. Just leave it, because if you changed it to a mixed number, it would be 2 3/4. That doesn't represent slope. So remember, a slope is the rise over the run. So we want to keep it in that ratio format. If I were to flip this and use this as my second set and this is my first set, it would look like this. 5 minus a -6 over 1 minus a -3. I'd end up with double negatives again, so I end up with 11 over 4. Exact same thing. Okay, so it does not matter which set you use, just be consistent. If I used this set for my y, I'm going to use this set for my x. Here, I use this set for my y, I use this set for my x. In other words, don't flip-flop them. Be consistent with which ones you're going to use with the x and the y. And that's how you find slope.